Welcome back to LTV Lab. Today in the lab, we are joined by Tammy Rant, founder and CEO of Tushbaby, and Evelyn Eichler, director of marketing at Tushbaby. So a few weeks ago, our team at Dispatch placed several e-commerce orders from Tushbaby, and today we're breaking down the full customer journey end to end. So we're going to walk through everything that we experienced when we were shopping on the website to the post-purchase communications we received over the course of 30 or so days, the unboxing experience, and then we're also just going to talk through how the brand nurtures new customers that come into their ecosystem. Yeah, we're going to dig into what Tushbaby's doing exceptionally well as of today and where there's potentially opportunity to increase repeat purchase rates and LTV. So Tammy and Evelyn, welcome into the lab. It's awesome to have you here. Before we get into our ordering experience, would love to just give our viewers some context about you guys, your backgrounds, and the brand.
Of
Great.
course.
Thanks. So I'm Tammy. And a little bit about me, I came from a background in tech sales. So I was not in e-commerce at all, but I created Tush Baby out of pure need when I had our original hero product is a hip seat carrier, and we kind of created that category. It didn't exist before, and my daughter just always wanted to be held, and I constantly was walking around the house with a complicated carrier dangling from my body. And so I wanted something that was better and easier to carry my baby on my hip and also carry my things and look cute while doing it. So I created Tush Baby out of need and launched into a completely different career. Originally, it was just for myself and then like the product, but then I started wearing it out and I realized there was really a lot of customer appetite for it. Everyone asking where I got it and how they could get one. And so I decided, thinking that I would just launch a really small business on the side, quickly turned into a huge business that was growing rapidly. So ended up quitting my job and my career to do something that I'm extremely passionate about and love doing. So it's just been the biggest blessing and surprise of my life. And so, well, lots of blessings, but biggest surprise for sure. So I'm very grateful and I love what I do.
So,
Love
well,
it.
thank you so much for that context. Evelyn, would love to hear from you.
Yeah, so I am the director of marketing at Tushbaby. I've been with Tushbaby for almost 5 years now. I started out as a copywriter back in the day when we were a teeny tiny team. It's been so great, being able to watch the business grow. And as we expand, obviously, we identify different needs and being able to kind of grow with the team and have all of us be able to work together across all of these different funnels, all these different areas to be able to really grow the company and steer it in the direction that we want and in a way that will really serve parents and continue to serve parents as their children grows. It's been really awesome, and we're really looking forward to seeing the insights that we'll chat about today.
Sure. Okay. Thank you for that context. I'm curious to know, so the carrier was the first product that was developed. Like, how has the product line evolved from like that first ever iteration? Because obviously now you offer a wide range of products.
Yeah, we're really trying to meet parents, where they are in their journey, whether that's if they're expecting and they're exploring products that might best suit their lifestyle, or, through newborn, baby to toddler, where maybe their kids are on the move, they don't need as much stuff. They're trying to look for ways to more streamline their experience and their parenting journey. And time again, we'll have customers come in and say, I wish that I had this when my kids were the carrying age. And that's something where we're like, we want to be able to get to those people as soon as they need it. And I think that, the way that we've been growing has been so amazing to see that we're able to, address these needs for everyone at whatever stage they're at, whether their kid is an infant or, up on the move and growing.
Okay, well, definitely, I think the best products are just born out of a need for yourself and what you want to see in the world. So that's awesome to hear. And actually, like, leads to my next question, which either of you, Tammy or Evelyn, can answer, is like, who do you see as the brand's core customer demo today?
Yeah, so from a gift giving perspective, it's over 30%, which is really high. And we've done some like really deep dives in order to figure out whether how to determine whether it's a gift or not. And it's somewhere between 30 and 35% usually at all times, like fluctuating within that. The funny thing is, there's the mom and dad users, and while there are a lot of dads using it, it's usually the mom that's purchasing it for the dad, or an in-law, or like as a gift for both parents. But it's generally that like men are doing less of the purchasing, but we've heard that's not just for carriers, that's just in general, the way that people shop. And so, yeah, and then from grandparents, I don't actually have the specific data on that. It's harder to determine. But we do see a lot of like reviews and uh, really wonderful emails that we'll get from grandparents just sharing their gratitude, because a lot of times that has a huge impact on the grandparent that like couldn't otherwise carry their baby, their grandbaby, or have, issues with their body that makes it painful if they didn't have something like this. So we get a lot of like lovely emails from grandparents and lovely reviews, but unfortunately we don't have like specific data on grandparents.
Okay, interesting. Um, Again, Tammy, Evelyn, either of you can answer this question. How do you think about the role that email and SMS play in the business today to help grow the overall business?
Ooh, well, I can start with that one. I mean, I think it's very important to have a really good relationship, I think, with your customers with email and SMS. Obviously, everyone for the last couple of years, personalization, personalization, personalization over and over and over again. That's something that we this year and next year are really trying to look toward, especially because we have such a range of products now. We really want to be able to hit people at the exact moment in their journey, whether that's preference collection upon sign up and being able to do targeted flows based on people's age ranges of their children, whether it's based on product interests. It's becoming clear, especially with AI and, a lot of companies leaning on AI preference collection and, um, AI journeys or things like that to target specific customer behavior, that people are getting used to and expecting more of a personalized and a direct one-to-one experience. And that's something that we're really trying to focus on in our email and SMS program. One of the things that's also has really helped us with that is we actually consolidated our tech stack. So we moved from Klaviyo email to Attentive email. So we have Attentive for email and SMS. Being able to have that insight on one platform and be able to kind of identify in people's customer journeys what they're responding to, what they're interested in, has really helped us be able to hone in on things like, maybe this person's more responsible or more responsive on text than they are for email. So maybe we should hit them there. Maybe this message is something that wouldn't be best suited at this time period. So we can kind of adjust that. That's been really good for us to kind of look at, especially as we continue to grow the brand, just making sure that we're able to hit everyone who's looking for certain things exactly what they're looking for rather than, blanketed, um, we'll call it spray and pray that a lot of brands will do when they're like developing their programs.
Got it. Okay. Super interesting that you bring up the move from Klaviyo to Attentive, just because like we are nerds about this and we spend a lot of time in
Mhm.
the platforms. I'm curious to know what sparked the decision to move from Klaviyo to Attentive, like bringing email from Klaviyo to Attentive versus bringing
Mhm.
SMS from
Vice versa.
Attentive to Klaviyo. Mhm.
Yeah. So part of it, we've been on Attentive for SMS for years now. They're a really great partner. They, have consistently provided really good support. We have dedicated CSMs that we meet with consistently. Klaviyo, we didn't really see that same level of care in their representatives and their account maintenance. Meeting with them was very few and far between. Strategy basically non-existent. Attentive has always been a lot better at that. I think in terms of abilities as well, like Attentive has always been pretty consistently best in class with their SMS. They do a lot of work with carriers, with people like Apple and Android in terms of, things that can change in the landscape for text messaging. And it's something that they're able to kind of put those resources to developing their email program a lot quicker than Klaviyo has been able to develop their SMS program. So it's kind of that lever where, you know, Attentive has just a little bit more, I think, nuances to their resource and a little bit more power behind their development in order to kind of get things where they need to be. And I think the other thing too was Klaviyo changed their billing structure, and it was something that I think put a lot of brands off of Klaviyo and kind of triggered a switch for a lot of people where they were kind of pricing their, I think it was their monthly retainers based off of profiles rather than uses. I might be getting that wrong, but there's something where essentially the sliding scale of payment would get raised when you weren't really sending more. It was just kind of based on subscribers. Um, and, we're always about cost optimization and performance. So it was just, it came to the point where it was just a better choice to, number one, have everything on two places, and number two, kind of pick the service that has proven to be successful for us and has proven to be, a resource for long-term support.
Got it. Okay, good to hear that
Yeah.
like you guys had a great experience on Attentive. You are right about the details of like that Klaviyo price change, so that makes sense.
Mhm.
And honestly, like I do think we're pretty platform agnostic. I think like everything we're going to talk about today is like relevant whether you were on Klaviyo or Attentive.
Mhm.
So yeah, that is interesting. Cool. Okay, my last question before we get into the customer journey is what are the core e-com marketing metrics that you are really focused on improving going into 2026? Not necessarily just like email, SMS, but marketing metrics as a whole.
Ooh, I mean, I think obviously revenue, revenue, revenue. We always want to be able to optimize our performance and our channels to be able to kind of get that. Our ROI has always been pretty consistently strong across our marketing channels. It's something that we always like kind of pride ourselves on maintaining as well. Um, I would say another thing that we're looking to do this year, Tammy also jump in whenever, but we kind of do really want to capitalize as well on our one-time customers and our return customers. We recently launched a product that is a lift-off toddler sling. So it's essentially like a no buckle, no point of failure, super easy to get on and off sling for toddlers. When they're on the move, they suddenly decide they don't want to walk, you can easily lift them up because 2 seconds later they're going to want down again. So we're seeing that a lot of people who came and purchased our hip carriers are coming back and buying lift-off. So we're seeing that there's kind of an opportunity here to be able to not only like strengthen our relationship with the brand and continue this ongoing relationship with people through this journey, but also kind of being able to target those people with a new solution and like a new iteration of what we can provide for them with Tushbaby. And a lot of what we've been doing as well is bundling a lot of our products together, which we're seeing people are loving. We'll pair our carriers with our crossbody bags. I don't know if you guys have seen those, but we have really versatile crossbody bags in two different sizes that you can wear around your waist, around your shoulders, across your chest with the carriers, which has been really helpful for people to kind of have that all in one solution. So you know, one of the one of the biggest things is being able to be that one stop shop for people and sort of identifying ways where we can meet those needs and be that one stop shop. Tammy, let me know if
And
I'm
to
missing anything in terms of like numbers.
Yeah, I would say our biggest focus, obviously, we pay attention to all the numbers, but it's going to be, as Evelyn stated, return customer, AOV, ROI, and CAC. So those are like the top that
Mhm.
we're obviously, and I think pretty much all brands are interested in improving those numbers at all times. But um, to Evelyn's point, like having that repeatable business is great. And that's why we have products in multiple stages so that like
Yep.
they fall in love with the initial product and whatever that stage is that they find us at or discover us at, and then see that there's these other amazing products as their child grows and then as they have new babies or new babies in their life. So we're catching them the like full life cycle. So that's the repeatable business, which also plays right into those additional products, and that line growing is the AOV. So just increasing their basket size and offering, anything from additional types of carriers to like we've already got them there. Look how amazing, like we have an aesthetically pleasing toy and teether line that's like doesn't look like crap on your floor. I'm so sick of like my kids' toys everywhere. I wanted something that like was kind of inspired by interior design, but also very developmentally appropriate for the children. So like just ways of, upselling, cross-selling within our line.
Okay, thank you for all of that context. And I think that like lends perfectly into the customer journey and the insights we were able to pull and the opportunities to drive higher LTV and even potentially lower customer acquisition cost. So without further ado, we can get into it here. Okay, so normally Safia would be taking this stage because she is our executive order placer for LTV Lab, but because she's on vacation this week, I will take it from here. So essentially, the first thing, oh, and actually, before we jump into it, one note that I'll just give you is all of these sticky notes are what we're going to be talking through, which are basically our insights. And basically, everything you see here is a combination of our kind of like unique perspective at this point as being new customers of the brand, but also blended with our experience as lifecycle marketing experts. So we've sent over 1 billion emails. We've generated over $50 million in revenue via email and SMS. And basically everything you see here is going to be either from one or both of those perspectives. So our customer journey
Great.
started when we landed on the website. And the first thing that we noticed is that there was no pop-up form when we landed on the site. This might be because you guys are using Attentive for forms and we're in Canada. It's possible, but I just wanted to know if that is true, that there is no form live or there is one live. We just didn't see it.
Yeah, there is one live. I wonder if it would be location based. We can definitely check on that. I would imagine it's because I think also, I would imagine if you're in Canada, then you're probably getting the international iteration of our website. Is that, yeah, Tammy, I think that would be correct.
That would be it should be on though regardless.
Yeah.
So I don't know,
Mhm.
is it possible that it was you'd already been to the site and already subscribed, or is that it was completely new?
No, I even tried again, like when we were going through our data collection phase, just to make sure. So like I went on incognito, and I didn't receive it. I do think like I've experienced this quite often with brands who are using Attentive for their pop-up forms, where it just doesn't show up internationally. It
Well,
only shows the States.
interesting. Yeah, maybe it's international because I just went incognito and it showed up for me.
Yeah, I'm like 99% sure it's because we're in Canada.
Okay.
Yeah, but good to know that
Mhm.
you
Good.
do have
Good to
your
know.
form live. Are you guys collecting zero-party data in your pop-up form? And
Yes, we
zero-party
are.
data. Oh, you are? Okay. What is the zero-party data that's being collected?
Originally, actually, what we were doing recently as well was we were doing, obviously, we're collecting email, SMS, first name, last name. Another thing that we were doing recently was preference collection. So that would be information like their age range, their child's age range. However, we did see that that was not something that our customers were, really engaging with as an opportunity to like convert and personalize. It was really, it seems that people are more focused on the offer, whether that's the time of year, given the holidays, or just people's, interest with our customer base. But that's something that we've been kind of testing out and analyzing. We actually just turned that test off a couple days ago. So we're in the weeds of kind of assessing that as well.
Okay, got it. Yeah, that is something that like we've seen some brands experience. There are like very, I don't even want to say advanced because they're not that complicated, but like there are strategies that can be implemented to see like even higher opt-in rates while collecting
Mhm.
zero-party data. Have you heard of the platform Alia for pop-up forms?
I have not. Tammy, have you?
No.
Okay,
Mm-mm.
I almost want to like pause this and show it to you, but I can send it to you after, or you can Google it.
I
Um,
love it. Yeah.
so their forms are extremely aesthetically pleasing. They're beautiful. So like at Dispatch, we have switched all of our clients over to them, whether they were previously on Attentive or Klaviyo, and like we aim for opt-in rates as high as 15, even 20% on those while collecting zero-party data. And because you mentioned personalization, Evelyn, as like being one of the uh, core activities that you're looking to improve in 2026, collecting that zero party data is so powerful in just being able to personalize messaging downstream in the funnel, in both flows and
Hmm.
even campaigns. So, like the one question, because usually like there's one question. I know that you guys were collecting age, but I would be curious to know like these were the things that were top of mind for me in terms of like if you had to know one thing about a new website visitor who's coming from a paid ad, let's say, what would be the one thing you would want to know about them to help you kind of like frame your sales argument around why you need a Tushbaby, what products? you should be looking at in order to convert like that specific person. So the two things that I had were like parent stage, like are you either expecting, are you at the newborn stage, toddler, preschool stage, or like asking the question of like, who are you shopping for today? Are you shopping for yourself or are you purchasing as a gift? Because I do think like fundamentally those people have different like desires and reasons for why they want to shop. Um, and we could basically personalize the messaging towards either, like in either of those scenarios. Does one of those sound like a more logical uh, data collection piece than the other?
They're both like really important. But if it was like
Hmm.
one or the other, I guess it would probably be the age. Because we do have a gift page that's new, we recently launched. So there's like for those gift givers, they do have like a place to click to that's all set up for them and where we have a personal concierge that can help them build a gift and answer questions and even design it for them, like a package with personalization and gift wraps and all kinds of like, embroidery. And we're launching stamps and, patches to all our products. So I think with that page being built, the number one, I guess, would be probably the child's age.
We also work with a company called, I believe it's Genus AI. They do advanced identity tagging. So we are able to populate from their identity tagging gifting segments and high intent segments from them. Like it could be anything from like travel segments to high Amex spenders. So we're able to get those populated into our attentive. And a lot of the time, that's how we will do our segmentation via email is we will separate out whether it's gifters, purchasers, non-purchasers, and tool our messaging within campaigns to that.
Okay, that's so interesting that there's a like identity graph that can basically infer if someone's going to be shopping as a gifter or not. And I pride myself on my like knowledge of the tech in the ecosystem. I've never heard of that, so I'm going to look into it
Yeah, we can
because
send it
that does
over to
sound,
you. Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
very, very interesting. Cool. Okay. So basically, moving forward, we did put our email address into the footer in the site just to be able to like see what the welcome series look like. And then moving forward, basically, we made our way to our prog pages and then basically came into the cart. There was one thing that was like noted by Safir when she was shopping, which is just that in the cart, basically let her know that there was an end of summer sale for 20% off site wide. And that like this wasn't, it was in the cart, but like not in the hero, she noted. And then she also realized when she was trying to apply the code, because basically she got the welcome email that was like for 15% off. And then she wanted to use the August 20 that was for 20% off. And then she just noted that like when she tried to use it, it didn't let her. So she ended up using the 15% one. I think this just comes down to like there's a lot of tech to basically update whenever there's a sale, not a sale. Um,
Which, really quick, which code did she try to use and didn't work? And was she trying to stack the codes or just use one at a time?
she was just trying to use one, and it was this
Okay.
one, so AUG20. Yeah,
Okay.
Because they bought a couple months ago, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, it was in
So
October.
that,
in October 9th was the date. Yeah,
Okay. So it was October 9th.
so that code was
Um,
probably over. That was an August sale,
yeah, that was an
maybe
August sale.
two.
So that would have been 2 months old. So I'm
yeah.
not sure if
So
Did
that's
you say,
we
something.
don't.
did you say you got an email promoting it or you see it, they see that on the site, August 20th, right?
Yeah, it was in the cart, and this could have just been like a bug. So maybe it had been turned off and like was still showing for some reason. Um, yeah, just something that Saf added.
Interesting.
Which website is it? Are you going to, is it tushbaby dot com? I'm
So when
wondering
I
if there's
just
because I know that we have a different theme for our international visitors. So I'm wondering if there was a discrepancy from our developers between our international theme and our home theme.
For sure. So when I just Google Tush Baby and then go to the site like from Google, it takes me to the .com.
Okay. Okay, that's good to
It's
know.
Yeah.
interesting though, because like if that was going on for everybody, we would have definitely known about it
Yeah,
because
I would
we would
assume.
have got emailed. So that's why I'm wondering if it is an international, even though we do get a lot of international customers, especially in Canada. So I just feel like that would have been reported, but I don't really know exactly what went
Yeah.
on there.
if you do have a lot of customers coming in from Canada, yeah, I would definitely message attentive to see what's going on with the pop-up form for sure.
Okay.
Cool. So we placed our order, and then I'm just gonna go into like the delivery because I might forget otherwise. And honestly, it was one of the most exciting parts of the customer journey for me. So this is my order. I ordered the strapless baby hip seat, and your unboxing experience, I can confidently say, is the best one that I've had on all of our probably 15, 16 episodes of LTV Lab so far. And really, like what we talk about all the time is like the unboxing experience like comes down to expectations. So like if you're not expecting much, if you're not buying from like a luxury brand, you're not expecting like anything out of the ordinary. It's kind of just like get me my product in a package
Mm.
that is like not damaged, not broken, and like that's kind of what gets you a like 10 on 10 experience. But really like when you're not, I didn't look at Tushbaby as like a very premium brand, I would say, like when I was purchasing just based off the pricing. But this felt like a really premium like unboxing experience. And I will just say, like, for anyone who's watching this, if you are a D2C brand, like the unboxing experience is your customers' first in-person touch point with the brand. So like they're not able to walk into a retail storefront. They're not able to like see the product, touch the product. And this is the first time where they're kind of discovering like, okay, they showed me these product images. They sold me on why I should buy it online digitally. Now I'm finally seeing what the brand's made of in person. And this impact of that first touch and feel and look goes a really long way. So number one, like just the visuals and the information that was on like the outside of the box was awesome in terms of like how to carry. Like the customer reviews was a really nice touch just to like make me feel confident before even opening. This is the front of the package, and then this was
Did
the
it
back
arrive? Did it arrive with that? It looks like it's a little
over
on the
here.
corner there on the front. Yeah, did it arrive like that?
This, yeah, it
Or did
did.
that happen? Interesting.
Yeah, but honestly,
And
everything else
maybe,
was so nice that I didn't even notice until you just
I
pointed it
mean,
out.
yeah, that shouldn't have arrived like that. I don't know if that was like a in transit issue, but it definitely wouldn't have shipped out like that. So that's
Elliot,
interesting.
did
But yeah,
you happen to receive it in a poly mailer, like one of those bags, or was it in a
Like the
shipping
actual
box?
bag. Oh no, so this was in
Yeah, like
it
the
was in a
package was
box.
delivered then.
It was a
Okay,
box.
it was in a brown shipping box. Okay, great.
Yeah, yeah. I can sense the perfectionism and I love it, honestly. Like, yeah, because I really didn't like notice this or fault you for it at all, because everything else was so strong. But I appreciate like
I'm
you
going to show
honing
you
in on the
something
one
real
thing.
quick.
Yeah.
Hold on one second. This is just in my house. I don't have it totally assembled to show you. It usually has a beautiful bow, but our
Okay.
gift boxes, do you see how pretty this is with the
Oh, it's
gold?
beautiful.
And then it matches kind of that, see that carry on and the Tush Baby logo. And there's a logo on the top of that box actually that's also in a gold. So it's just this really beautiful premium. You know, the boxing experience was really important to us, the unboxing experience. And so I'm glad that you noticed that, but disappointed at that somehow in the brown shipping
Yeah.
box
In the shipping box.
internationally it got
Yeah.
damaged, but that's okay.
So yeah, I'm giving you a real customer perspective, which is like it didn't matter to me. But again, I
Good.
appreciate the perfectionism. And this,
Well,
yeah, this
as a
like
perfectionist, that's like I'm not happy with that.
yes.
But two perfectionists were like,
Okay.
Who do we need to call?
Okay.
yeah,
I hope I'm not getting anyone fired.
no,
Yeah.
no, no.
The embossing here though, again, like you just mentioned it, but really, really like nice touch. I'm actually just curious to know, like on the costing side, because I think it is like every D2C brand like that's watching this, like would love to have beautiful packaging, beautiful unboxing. But like it just comes down to cost at the end of the day. And I think a lot of brands like just feel like they can't justify it.
Hmm.
Was it a big decision for you to make, or did you basically like feel like you had to make it work with the margins and like price the product to accommodate it?
Um, I it was a like a non-negotiable for us. Product and box, all of that is, packaging. It's all one product, right?
Mhm.
one area we don't compromise is quality. So it's, you probably noticed on the product, the YKK zippers, premium foam, we custom dyed, like, so that we know exactly what's in it and we don't want harmful chemicals. So like product is like, that's what we are offering. That's what we're selling. And as parents, as a consumer that like enjoys an unboxing experience, that was a non-negotiable for us. So we had to make it work with the price. And we actually have a really, as you know, I mean, our price point is not high for what it is. So it's like, what other areas can we cut back on costs that aren't product related? Like, how can we get, let's say, our CAC down so that we can accommodate for this? Or how can we get our ROI up? But it was never, yeah, it was, we never considered not having it premium and beautiful because it has to match the quality of the product inside of it.
Wow. I love that mentality. And even on like the email side, we often just say, like, especially if you're a D2C, no one's touching your product. Like if you believe that you have the best quality product on the market and quality is so important to you, like that should be visible in everything you do. And I do
Right.
feel like it is here.
And
So that's go
thank
ahead.
you. Thank you for noticing that. And I think the other thing too is like there's a lot of knockoffs now, I'm sure you're aware of. And we were the first, but like now there's like I said before, we created a category. And so a lot of brands and non-brands, people that are like, I guess they technically are brands, but manufacturers overseas are creating products and giving it a brand name and but they're really just knocking off products and there's no like not a lot of brand people behind it. It's just manufacturers and sending it to Amazon or retargeting our customers. And that's where you're really going to see the difference, like where people are like, oh, I can get it for half the price or a third of the price. And you're like, buy them both and look at them. And if you decide to send ours back, I am more than okay with that, but you
Yeah.
will not because when you see them, like this is what we're selling. It's the product. The product has to be top notch, has to be the best of the best. It's designed for babies. There's nothing more important. It has to be safe. It has to be
Exactly.
quality. It has to be premium. It has to like with babies, for me, there's zero room for error or flaw
Compromising.
or no, yeah, you can't compromise. And
Yeah.
so when people are like trying to cut corners to save money, I get that, but like a baby carrier in my mind is not a place to do that. And if you see what else is out there and you see it next to a tush baby from a look perspective, from a feel perspective, from a quality and like how long it's going to last, it's going to hold its shape, it's going to like almost a fault for us because people don't have to rebuy it. They don't like they can have it through multiple babies and then give it away and that person can use it. So like it almost hurts us that it's so premium because it's like it's literally it's built to last and it's beautiful at the same time. So that is I'm glad that you noticed it because like as a mom and as a perfectionist, this has had to happen.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think a lot of brands can learn from that just like ideology, honestly. Okay, so basically the like packaging also came with this pamphlet, which had some really good information on like how to actually use the Tush Baby. Obviously, like it's for your baby, you want to make sure it's safe. Like this is extremely important information to convey. So great that it had that. This like great note from you, Tammy, Tammy, from our family to yours. Thanks for choosing Tush Baby. Like it is, and like this is just a piece of paper, so like it's not the most expensive thing in the world, but it does go a really long way in, again, like you said, just like separating you from like a drop shipping brand, let's say, that's knocking you off,
Yeah.
and showing that like you actually care and like you are here
Thank
for them.
you. And
Um,
I do care. I do. One thing to note is those of not all of them, but some of them has been updated. So that product manual is different, and the brochure. I don't know if that one came with the brochure inside, but we now have this like beautiful trifolded. That's how we call it, trifold brochure that shows all the rest of our line. Um, so it's a little different now, and that manual that you're looking at there is different too.
got it. Okay, cool. Cool. And then like this was actual product and like it is for anyone watching, if you're debating buying Tush Baby, like you just know as soon as you touch it, like this is extremely high quality. Like there's no guessing going on. So yeah, on the product side, like very satisfactory. And then I'll let Kayla speak to what she ordered.
So cute. That's I see it coming.
Uh, yeah. So I
Love.
ordered the
Oh
the
my
kid
gosh.
carrier with the teddy. My daughter is 4. She is absolutely obsessed with babies. And so I saw it and I knew I had to buy it for her. And it's interesting you talk about perfectionist and quality because instantly, like, it's a toy. It's for like, a toy thing, but like the quality of the carrier for like it being for a kid's toy, I was like, oh my God, if their quality of their actual carriers matches anything like this, like I was blown away by like what it like the touch and feel. I was like, yeah, basically it was
Oh, we're
like
so
if it's anything
glad.
like this like toy one, like their actual carrier is supposed to be amazing. But yeah, she was
Oh,
very
thank
happy
you. She's
to get
adorable.
it.
And the idea behind this was like kids like to play like pretend parents. Like they see their dad, whatever your dad's doing. Let's say he's doing the dishes, like that's his job in the house. Your
Oh,
kid wants to do that. They barbecue. Your kid wants to barbecue.
yeah.
They see their parents carrying on the tush
Yeah.
baby. They want to carry on
My
a tush baby.
She brings this to school almost every day.
Really,
And
I
Oh my
love
gosh,
that.
I
That's
yeah,
so
love
cute.
that.
and she has
That's
like,
amazing.
all the pretend things. So she packs her money of the day and a snack is usually in there. So she fills it with things and there's a diaper in there usually for her baby. And so yeah, she packs it
So
and she
Love
brings it off to
that.
cute.
school.
She's such a
But
That makes
even
prepared
me
like,
so happy.
caregiver.
yeah, she's pretty amazing. But even things like the teachers notice the quality because she brings it and they're like, oh, where did you get this? Like, this is amazing. And then, I shared the brand and stuff. So, um, the quality and the product itself really speaks for itself.
Yeah,
Oh,
when
well, thank
Kayla
you.
mentioned the quality of the kids one, I was just shocked because I was like, they didn't have to do that. Like, it wasn't obviously functionally necessary, but the fact that you guys did, yeah, it tells us everything we have to know.
Thank
Cool.
you. Again, like our customer is parents and kids, and like I'm a mom. Sarah, our co-founder, she's a mom. It's so important. Like the things that, I don't want to hand my child a toy that could like a zipper could break off and a pull and a baby could put it in their mouth or, like it had to be high end, even if it's for a kid.
Mhm. Yeah, there's a lot of thought behind literally every element of it from, like even the fact that we did identical pockets and like double zippers and things like that. We like to say this is a Sarah line, every stitch, strap, and storage pocket is really made and crafted with love. And that's something that's true literally from our teethers to our crossbody straps to our kids' toys to our carriers. So it's something that,
Yeah.
is really important to us in all stages of product development, product positioning, and generally just the use and making sure that people are able to
Yeah.
love and use these products for as long as they can.
And just to add one thing, so I saw you had the toy tush, or the tushy bear, sorry, on the toy tush baby. And like even that, like the level of detail that we go to is like who's going to be wearing this? It's going to be a child. Are they, a lot of times they might have a younger sibling, maybe they're seeing mom or dad carry their sibling on the tush baby and that's why they got a toy one. So let's make the sweater of the bear so that the baby can see that it's black and white,
Yeah,
has contrast. So like really thinking about it as like a parent and a user and like making it the best that it can be for that. So
I forgot
Love
about
it.
that. We changed Tushy Bear's sweater a couple times. So we'll literally
yeah, I
go
was
into
like,
like
needs to be
finite
black and white.
details like that. Yeah,
Wild. Amazing. Okay, so happy to get into the email part of the customer journey here. And I just want to preface this. I know you said before, Tammy, that you didn't want to like look like an idiot at all. And I just want to preface
Yeah.
for both you and Evelyn, like the truth is, like, and everything we're about to point out here, like we only know about, like I said, like we send over 1 billion emails, and like this is all we do all day long.
Yeah.
So you guys have gotten this far and like you're doing an incredible job already. But the things that we're pointing out are just a product of running like thousands of A/B tests and like
hmm
knowing what works in some situations, what doesn't. Again, blended with like our customer experience. But definitely don't want you to feel like anything here is like an obvious thing that like you should have known, let's say, or that like anyone watching this like would obviously know, because that's not the case for, I don't think, anything we're gonna put together. And I know that like on your end, Evelyn, like if you're overseeing like all marketing, like I used to work as a director of e-commerce, and trust me, I know like how many parts of the funnel of the marketing stack there are. So even like anything we talk about that's like a technical thing, there's just a lot to like watch over. Cool. So happy to get into it. So the first email that we got was on the 9th. So this is when we signed up for our code there in the footer. And essentially, like on the design side, you guys have like very good design overall. This is like almost more of a strategy comment than a design comment. But when we look at an email like this and like how someone's like gonna read it when they open it on their phone, let's say, like they're gonna see this above the fold section. And like when we're putting a CTA here to like get 15% off, like the intention is basically say like, welcome to the fam, and like go like click this button. We want you to click this button and like leave the email. And if someone does that, like they're not gonna see the code that they would need for 15% off. And like this might be linked with like the code dynamically added in, let's say.
Yeah, it's an auto apply link.
Yeah, but even with the auto apply link though, like if someone's not going to come back, let's say, like if they're not going to complete their
It's not
purchase
clear.
in
Yeah.
that moment, it's just not immediately clear that like you need a code and like here's where your code is when you are ready to shop. So that's just like the one note that I had over there. And then I think Lauren was somewhere else. Maybe it's different. Yeah, it was the next email, I think. Okay, so this is really interesting, and I didn't see the pop-up form, obviously, but I did notice that like the incentive to sign up for SMS that you're offering here for unlocking VIP access is the same as like what was being offered for email. And typically, like we're just gonna see higher opt-in rates if we have a better incentive, like a reason to sign up for SMS. But like almost more importantly here is the first, and like you'll see this if you look at your data, like in your welcome flow, the experience or the conversion rates when someone signs up to your email or SMS list, it's like a waterfall. So like the conversion rates are going to be the highest on day one, then day two, then day three, et cetera, et cetera. And day one is so important to drive that conversion. And like our goal in terms of what drives the most revenue for our clients is like giving someone their code and getting them back to the site like as efficiently as possible to go shop. And as soon as we start adding in like different CTAs, like go sign up for text for like the same offer that you already have, now like they're potentially going to the site to sign up for text, but like not shopping. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So that's the one like call out over there. Cool. Same day, we placed our order. So we got this order confirmation. And then you had a comment here, Kayla?
Yeah, I was just curious on the strategy of featuring like other brands in here versus just like upselling other products on your line.
Right. Yeah.
So we work with a company, Disco, and I think, did they change their name? I think it's still Disco, actually. And we do cross-selling with them. So basically every display that we have within ours, we get a placement in somebody else's. And from like a targeting perspective, you can actually go in and select like who your audience is to help like align you with similar brands. Or comparable brands. And so, yeah, those are like each time you're seeing that, we're actually bringing in a lot of revenue from that within other companies displaying
Yeah,
us.
that was going to be my next question is, are you actually seeing the revenue like
Oh, yeah.
come from it? Yeah.
We are. It comes within the order confirmation and in emails too. But yeah, we definitely track that.
That's honestly so interesting and not something we've seen before in LTV Lab. And yeah, if you're saying like it's a meaningful percentage of revenue, I am curious like how many brands know about this. Because yeah.
For us, it's a 5-to-1 ROI. We just ran
Okay.
the stats on that last week, actually.
Okay. Awesome. Cool. Okay. So that was the order confirmation email that was received. And then we got our thank you for your order email shortly after. And basically the first like call out that I have here is this is a really good like upselling opportunity, and this is going to be a pretty common theme like across a lot of other emails. And like for anyone watching this episode, one of the biggest just like mistakes, quote unquote, that brands make that just hurt the ability to generate incremental revenue is trying to fit too many things in one email, like too many different messages, different CTAs, different angles. And this is a really good example of like the majority of people who open your emails are not scrolling all the way down to the bottom. So
Hmm.
if I were to open this email and see thank you for your order and maybe start reading, or even maybe click like any questions, I'm not going to see the additional angles that are here and messaging, which are really good. And that would just like be a shame. So what we want to make sure we're doing to drive as much LTV as possible is like making sure the important messages and conversion angles that we have a focused email on them. So like there's no way from the subject line to the preview text to the hero CTA of the email, like there's no way someone could miss that one thing we're trying to tell them and that one direction we're trying to point them in. So like it's great messaging. I just think it's very easy to get lost here, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. For sure.
I
Especially if
understand
more
that.
people these days are on mobile too. Takes longer to scroll.
100%. Yeah. The other thing
Yeah.
I didn't even have a note for this. I just noticed it now, but I do see here it says get 10% off for VIP access, where in other places it was 15.
Oh yeah, I think this might have been, yeah, this flow was updated within the last, I think, since that was done. So that would have been fixed. Yeah.
Okay, got it. And yeah, just a very classic case of like there's a lot to keep track of.
Hmm.
Cool. One day later on the 10th, this is your comment, Kayla.
Yeah, this looks like it probably part of the welcome series because it does have that code in it for us to use for 15% off. But at this point I've already placed my order.
Mm.
So it looks like there might be some triggers that need updating, and you just said you were updating the flow. So perhaps this got taken care of with that. Because at this point this isn't relevant to me because I've already placed my order.
Hmm. Yeah.
This is
Sorry,
actually
Would
let me
you
just, I'm
something.
taking
also,
some notes here, but are
Yeah.
you saying this email that came the next day, it's not even, it's not an upsell or anything to do with your current order. It's like a new, it's like a,
S-
what is that? Like a somebody that had
it's
dropped off
connected to the
type
welcome
of.
series. Yeah, it's one of the welcome series
Yes.
stages. I'm curious if you guys are able to provide your emails as well, so we can also dig into our platforms on the back end
For
and figure out
sure.
what that
Yeah,
overlapping
for
would be
sure.
as well.
Sorry, I'm just trying to
100%.
understand. So it's the welcome flow. So that's people that have already bought, right? So,
No, so it, and we actually got like
The
a
welcome
bunch of
flow
welcome
is,
emails.
oh,
So
anyone
yeah,
that signed up, like a new subscriber.
mhm.
yeah, but I think I maybe know what happened here just because I was talking to Kayla about this before, just to like make sure we didn't have any wires crossed. And basically what I noticed is that in the like welcome email, um, this is a different code than what, oh, sorry, no, it is the same code. Um, I'm actually getting my wires crossed here. We can skip over that. I actually don't know what happened here. My bad.
No
We
worries.
can
If you
share
do want to
the email
send those
though.
later, yeah, if you want to send those over later, we can check it out and see also like on our end if there's anything that will kind of help figure out too what we were trying to investigate.
For sure. Yeah, happy to. Okay, cool. So then on the 10th as well, got an email sharing that our order's on the way. Honestly, this is very much appreciated, and a lot of brands just don't have this configured properly. So just the fact that this is being sent to keep us in the loop is always very appreciated. And I can see, like, again, you have the disco widget over here. Then one day later on the 11th, this is, I believe, another welcome email. And then you had a comment over here, Kayla.
Oh, yeah, it was just around including a CTA. So you're spotlighting different products with like celeb spotting, which is great. Love the concept. But there's no like action for us to take to say like go shop this bag that we're like featuring here. So just adding in those like CTAs per product can
Okay.
really drive increased conversion for sure.
Yeah, we can see up to
Awesome.
50%
Love it.
improvements in click rates here just by like including that action. Like if you're interested in the vegan leather black, shop now. Um, yeah, exactly. Um, we can skip over here. And then this is another example of what I was talking about, where like this is such good and important messaging. And I believe like this is an email in the welcome flow. So like this absolutely should be seen and is a really good like conversion angle to get in front of new subscribers. But again, like because it's like buried below other messaging, it's just not
Mhm.
ideal. So this is where like what we do instead with our clients is like we'll have one email completely focused on like the celeb spotting social proof, and then like from the subject line to hero to the CTA, like we are making sure it's impossible you don't see this social proof. And then we're gonna have another email that is completely focused on like how tirelessly our founders worked, you know, and telling that brand story. Um, so yeah, like when I originally received these emails, I didn't scroll down and like it wasn't seen. And then I think Kayla, yeah, you had another comment here, which I think is like reflective of the same thing.
Yeah, 100%. It's just another module that I feel like could really use its own email to really get that message across and be like really effective.
Hmm.
Yeah, just something that we've seen work really well in the Welcome series as well is just kind of having a comparison-based email. And there's so many USPs that you guys have even spoken about today, and just kind of comparing that very clearly and visually to like a more generic option and just really showing why we're the superior version, I think would be really helpful in the Welcome series as well, which is something that could also be A/B tested. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. And like Kayla can speak to this
That makes sense.
better, but we work with another brand in the like functional bag space where their USPs and their selling points are exactly like Tushbaby's, like in the sense of it's extremely functional. It's more of a like purse type of brand, but really, really speaking to like the details and like what the benefit of the two-way zipper is and what the benefit of like the two loops for toys and sanitizers is really impactful when you compare it to another brand that does not have these things. Yeah, cool. One day
That
later,
makes sense.
on the 13th, so this was another welcome series email here, and I am curious because there were like there weren't other emails received in this time frame. Do you guys currently exclude anyone who's like actively going through the welcome series from receiving campaigns?
Yes, I believe that was something that we were doing because we were pretty aggressive with our flows, I think, during this time for the Q3 and Q4. And
Okay,
because of
got
how
it.
consistently we're sending them with the time delays, I think it was, to kind of accommodate for smart sending and over hitting people, let's say.
Got it. Okay. Um, yeah, that makes sense. This is a example of like a very strong focused email, I would say, where like the focus of the email is extremely clear on like going hands-free
Hmm.
with the snug.
And we
So this
have
is a
those as well split. We have split traffic for those. So if you didn't receive a snug, if you didn't order one, that's what you would get. And then there's a different email
got it.
for people who did not purchase or people who did purchase the combination together. They would not be receiving this email.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. Cool. One day later on the 14th. So this is like something that's good to note, and like for any brands watching this, the like inherently excluding people who are going through the welcome flow or other flows like isn't a bad thing. It's just really important to be mindful of like what else is going on and like what the best conversion opportunities are like at any given point. Because I know it's like on the 14th, like the first time that we heard about the 25% off site-wide sale was when it like was the last call for the sale. And I'm assuming that's because like there were other emails that went out for the sale, but we were just excluded because we were in the welcome flow. Um, so like because the 25% off site wide is obviously a better offer than 15%, this would have been a good time to like make sure we were seeing that, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Hmm. I'll have to check the dates for this flow too, because a lot of the times what we will do is we will change our flows to reflect the sale online, to kind of be able to
Yeah.
match. that expectation. So I can't exactly, there's been so many sales since I can't exactly remember when our October one was. But I'm pretty sure that we changed it during that. So it might have been that this sale went live after um, you guys ordered, and then you would have gone through our traditional flow because we have a separate flow that's set for events.
Okay.
So I'm thinking something probably could have happened there.
Got
And
it.
that's
Okay.
similar to like what we were saying about even choosing a recording date was like, oh, we're in our holiday flows right now. But and
Mhm.
we don't have a lot of sales generally throughout the year. It's just that it's the holidays. So that's why Evelyn's saying we have a lot of sales right now. It's because October, November,
Right.
December, obviously sales time.
Yeah, makes sense. You had a note here, Kayla?
Um, yes. Oh, I was just saying that since basically the product that I purchased was like a toy, and for like a generally like an older child, not a newborn, this section in general just didn't feel like as applicable to me and like my needs at the time. Um, but there's like a section at the bottom that says like new for kids, and like that's more needed for like what my needs are. So having some sort of ZPD data that you could like dynamically show like, all I want to see is new for kids because that's where I'm at in my life cycle
Yeah.
and my life stage. Having that like extra data point to be able to just like dynamically show relevant blocks for each customer could be a really big impact in conversion.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that one's a little harder. It's like we know that they have a kid in their life. It's like I hear what you're saying. Getting more data would be helpful, but new for kids is great for and should be probably at the top of some where they bought a toy Tushbaby. But then these other things might be relevant for like a lot of people that have a toddler in their life might be pregnant or expecting or have a newborn as well, or maybe they're a gift giver. So we wanted to showcase these other things while also because it's really with someone coming specifically for a toy, it's really hard to know
Yeah, and I think that's
again without you
simply
getting
like
that info.
I think it's like the push and pull of like wanting to personalize everything, like Kayla's saying. Like ideally, like for her, she would get like that new for kids, but then like just given how like realistic resource constraints work, like it's
Hmm.
not possible to have like a different email for everyone. So that's where like dynamic content
Yeah.
in Klaviyo, typically, and I'd be surprised if Attentive doesn't have the same feature, becomes really
Yeah, Attentive
relevant.
has it.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so that's where like that can be taken advantage of. It's still not, like you're gonna have to sacrifice something. It's not gonna be perfect, um, but yeah, that makes sense over there. So on the
Yeah.
copy and
Well,
design
our
side,
dream
go ahead.
honestly as well, like one of our dreams is being able to have flows where we can really drill down on this and get specific. Like let's say someone buys toys and accessories and they haven't bought a carrier. Theoretically we would do some kind of either education or toy specific flow that would be able to upsell into these other categories the same way that we would do with our carriers. I think that's something that we've been looking to do in addition to if you've seen our product line, we have a lot of products that will come in similar colors across different kinds.
Yeah,
So we'll have, a velvet, let's call it a velvet sable in a carrier that we also have in a bag, that we also have in a pacifier pod. So being able to drill down to those specifics as well is something that we're aiming to do in 2026. In addition to kind of being able to do with the, obviously we're doing things with dynamic images being pulled into these flows, but I think another thing too is like being able to get more specific and make these more nuanced flows to be able to really, because we have such a broad category of or broad range of products, that's something that I think would be very beneficial for us. So we put it on.
for sure. Yeah, no, that all makes sense and like completely aligned with the just like goalpost of personalization being the right one to chase, like going to 2026. Cool. So like I said, like creative is really not like your problem, I would say. Like it's you guys are a very like aesthetically pleasing brand. And this is where like we just put a redesign example together for like every brand that's on LTV Lab just to showcase like that there is a difference between like good design and then good email design purely from a engagement and conversion perspective where I'll let Lauren speak to this. But there are like very specific elements that make for a better email design. And it mostly just comes down to like efficient communication of like the core messages that we have in there. You want to talk through this, Lauren?
Yeah. So for this one in particular, like Elliot said, design is not a major issue for you at all. All of the imagery and how it's laid out is very nice, but it does come down to the like a lot of different things in one email when we want to break that up and kind of showcase, be more mindful of how we're like breaking up that information. So with your first module here, it's yes, the final hours is noticeable, but then you're losing the 25% off a little bit because it's not big enough, it's not in the header, and you're losing that code. So it's really about the urgency and making sure that's very clear. So in our redesign, we stripped down the copy and really focused on the nice imagery, but also made it very clear what the intention is on the situation and how we're going to showcase, like, here's our sale is ending, we want you to take advantage of it, and our code is very clear, and just make sure that that's very front of mind and easy for anybody to see. As we scroll down, we wanted to kind of just showcase the products a little bit differently. So when I think cross body, I literally just think of cross the body. So I figured, why not have it on an angle to kind of show how it could be interpreted or how it could be used, and really just fill up the space a little bit differently in that regard. And if we go a little bit
You mean
lower,
like you think that part? Sorry, you're saying on figure for that part,
yeah,
wearing it.
exactly.
Okay.
And a little bit lower, just really showing that why Tushbaby and highlighting the USPs or the elements we wanted to focus on a little bit clearer, and just again show a little bit variety of the imagery. Like here we have a guy carrying one of the babies, so it shows some of that variety. It's not always like women carrying a baby throughout. I'm sure that for the most part, like women is the primary like people who are using the product, but I'm like, I remember I watched it on Shark Tank. I remember seeing like father carrying the child. I'm like, we should be able to focus that, or at least highlight that to a certain extent somewhere as well.
Yeah.
So we had the opportunity, and we figured that could be a good place to put it.
And I was actually very surprised when you brought up, Tammy, that there are a lot of women who buy for their husbands, because I didn't initially think that that would be the case. But now that Lauren kind of brings it up again, there is like a striking lack of men, or just like the ratio is very much like skewed towards women. Like now that I am paying more attention to it here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is
Funny because we
like
have a lot of dads that like love it, but their wife bought it for them, or they got it as a gift, and then the dad uses it. But it's great for dads because they don't, your hips are straight, and it's hard for dads often to carry, and
Sometimes they don't like to admit that they need help, is the other thing
yeah.
with dads.
100%. So yeah, Lauren just put this together in like 15, 20 minutes. But basically the idea here is like everything that's being suggested is just based off hundreds of A/B tests we've run. So like the like least the less important thing to look at here is like the actual copy that's being used, or the actual images or design, more so like the structure of how the email is created in terms of what leads to better engagement. Any like high level thoughts seeing this?
No, I see what you're saying. So you're saying just a little bit more minimal, like 3 major blocks, and then less photos, less copy. Is that what you mean? Is that what you're trying to showcase?
Yeah, essentially, like more focus and saying less, saying more with
Mm-hmm.
less, I guess. Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
Got it.
Okay, moving on here. This was a really good plain text email that was received that like again had the just like code for 15% off our first order. On the 16th over here, you had a comment here, Kana.
Oh, yeah. Just again about the bundles, it was kind of really small and in the middle of it, and I think it could do well as like its own email, just kind of focusing on the different bundles and really featuring that.
Cool. And then Kayla had another
We do
note.
we do have a bundle. We do have was that a one-off Evelyn, or don't we have a bundle on the flow?
We have quite a few things with bundles. Yeah, this was a one-off campaign email. I'm trying to remember which one it was. I think this was specific after we launched Gingham and the beanie sets, where we were trying to tie in together our like matching elements, not necessarily our bundle pages, but we pretty frequently promote our bundles in our campaigns.
Got it. No, I'm sure you guys do. I just didn't see one in there, which is why I added that comment in.
Yeah, no worries. We also too, we just transitioned, or we actually like redeveloped our bundles. So in the last couple of weeks, we've been redeveloping a new gift sets page, and we're switching over a lot of our traffic to go to this new page that's kind of more concierge service oriented as well. So that's something that has been kind of evolving over the last couple of weeks.
Makes sense.
Cool. Same day on the 16th, we got this email, which I assume is from a post-purchase flow. So 5 tips for your brand new Tushbaby. And you had this comment, Kayla?
Yes, I thought this was a really valuable email, and it's great. It has a lot of education in it. And it applies to like what I got, because the way that you put on this is the same for the toy as I would assume the actual carrier. The only issue is timing. So I did get this email before I actually got my order. I got my order, I want to say like the week after I received this. So like in the moment when I'm receiving this, it wasn't valuable.
It wasn't
to me.
timely.
Where yeah, it wasn't the right time. So like trying to like
Yeah.
just look at your triggering to make sure that it's coming at the right time would be like super valuable. The toy didn't come with instructions, so I actually did go search back through my email because I remember seeing this to like figure out how to put it on her. But yeah, it's a very good educational email.
You had this comment, Lauren?
Yeah, it goes back to what we were talking about with the redesign. It's just there's a lot of information, and it's obviously very important information how to educate people on usage of the products. It's just when it's so much information in a small setting, and you want to also highlight the images, it probably would have been better off either to do it as a point form, just to highlight the different steps, or even to do it even less copy and then have more room for the images to breathe, and then have that information on the product display pages, just for some more clarity.
Yeah, and then just to kind of add on to what Lauren's saying, we're actually running quite a few A/B tests at the moment with some of our clients where we have like all of the information on the post-purchase email versus just having like one simple landing page with all of the information on there. And the landing page has worked so much better. So, even just kind of like summarizing this, making sure that they know exactly what they're getting from it, and then linking to the landing page could also really help.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think like to Lauren's point too, like just because it is like a small setting for like very important information too, it's easy for someone to kind of just like not want to like read it right away or kind of look at it as like a big block of text in the small writing. So that landing page does like lend itself to that better experience too, potentially. Cool.
I'm taking notes here too. So if you see me
Yeah.
doing that, I'm writing all this down. I guess, no, it's okay. I'll let you continue, and I might have a question. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. On the 19th, received our first email that was showcasing the referral incentive that you have. I assume this is done through Yotpo or someone else?
It's referral.
It's done through Referral Candy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is built, their like UX is built through Shopify, their designs and stuff.
Okay. Got it. I don't know that we use Referral Candy for any of our clients, but I would assume they have an integration with Klaviyo. The only reason I bring it up is just because like your branding is very strong, and just receiving an email with like very limited branding outside of here, when we have like tested this against Klaviyo emails, like Klaviyo branded designed emails, asking for referrals do typically perform better than like just the Referral Candy ones over here. Yeah, that's pretty much it over there.
Interesting. Is there
we would
a way
have to
that
check to see if they.
I-
Sorry, go ahead, Tammy.
No, I think you're about to say.
Oh no, I have worked with Referral
Oh,
before, and they do integrate with Klaviyo, so you can.
okay.
Tina,
We unfortunately
rockstar.
are no longer
What
on
about
Klaviyo.
Attentive? Yeah, we're on Attentive.
Oh,
I'm not sure.
Attentive integrations are not as strong, I know from experience. I don't know off the top of my head though. Yeah. Not the end of the world though. Just something let's call it. Cool. On
Hmm.
the 20th, so this was another example of the same situation where like the first email that like Kayla received here about the sale that was going on was this like ends tomorrow sale. So I assume it's probably the same reasoning, like being in another flow. But again, like if the best offer for her to take advantage of is that 20% off, like likely would want her to receive the rest of those communications in case there was like a sale teaser, like a sale launch email. It just kind of comes like abruptly over here. I think that was the last one there. On the 20th, so same day, I believe this is, I don't know if this is a flow email or a campaign, but this is like similar to what we were talking about before, where it's like good design, good email design. Like the primary goal should be just like really communicating like the offer as clearly as possible and like how to redeem it. And for anyone who's just like doesn't like, sometimes I just see a big block of text and I like I'm not in the headspace to read everything.
Hmm.
It's very easy for me to just like bounce versus like giving me the details right away. And it is another situation too, where like if our intention is like putting a button here so that they click it, they're going to click it without understanding like how to go use the code and that additional like offer
Hmm.
copy.
And I would say, yeah, they want it all, that you want the functionality. The fashion is important. I mean, our
Yeah, you
demographic
want to
is
look and feel
generally
good.
women.
Yeah.
We do have actually a lot of people that are kind of cult followers. It's definitely more than a handful. I've seen so many comments about people coming back and buying, like they want a leopard one and they want the neutral one and they want one for their husband. And so there are people that have that. And especially with the snug, some people will buy a base and then mix and match which snugs they have, because with one piece you can change your entire carrier versus having to buy a whole new carrier.
Hmm.
So I do see a lot of that. And I do think along with the function and the quality, that's another thing that separates us from the rest is like we are stylish, and a big part of our brand ethos is like feeling good in what you're wearing and not having your baby gear make you feel like, like we want it to elevate your look and
Yeah.
make you feel
Yes.
good. And so that's a big part of our mission. And so that's why, and not only do we just offer stylish options, it's always, it's evergreen. It's like, or sorry, not evergreen. It's constantly changing. It's like, um, we'll have limited editions. We'll do collabs with like other brands that have, major cult followings, like tea collections. Um, so, it's, and the limited editions will run out. We'll come out with like a fall line. We'll come out with a spring line. And so you can kind of get excited about like what's to come. And like as your style evolves, you can make little tweaks to change it to make it a little different. And one thing that we do that other lines don't do is we have this like build your own carrier. So you get to pick your base, you get to pick your snug, your attachment. You can pick your accessories that go along with it, your pod and your changing pads and your crossbody bag. So it's like and the strap. So you're not going to see anyone with that exact same carrier on. You get to make it like personal to you. And I do think that personalization aspect, embroidery, patches, fashion is a very big part of it. I can't like from a revenue perspective
For sure.
pin down exactly how many are buying multiple for themselves because we can only see the multiple use, other than the fact that we hear people telling us that. We get reviews about it, we get DMs about it, we get tagged in it. So it's happening. We just don't have these specific data.
No, for sure. And like, I really appreciate you sharing that kind of thought process behind it, like analysis. And honestly, like, I probably would have guessed that like there was more fashion uh, involved as a component of like that purchase decision.
Yeah.
And I honestly like, I think this email does a really good job of reflecting that. And it kind of opened my eyes when I realized like, oh, this is actually like the one email in like most of out of almost all of them that like puts the focus on the fashion piece. And it just kind of made me realize like that it was, and like maybe missing's not the right word if it's like intentional, that the function is like the
Mm-hmm.
98%. But I think this is a really good job of doing that. So it's just a question of like, could it be incorporated more,
Let
or
me
are we
see
just
here. Yeah, like
confident?
I know we We do have other ones that are fashion too. Like Evelyn has built these like really beautiful emails about like personalities of each of the different styles and like, oh, I'm the pink one, I'm bold, I'm this and that. And like we've also done like celebrity highlights of all the different celebrities wearing the carrier. I would
Mhm.
group that more into the fashion sense. So we definitely have others. It just might not have got to you yet.
Got it. Okay,
Right,
cool.
Evelyn? I'm not mistaken there, right? Yeah, I like we have done a lot around the fashion and on social, you'll see a bit more of that too,
Got
because
it.
that's where you really like showcasing it and the videos and all that.
Cool. On the
Just a heads up, I have
31st.
to jump kind of soon here, but
Okay.
I'm
Are we good to
here.
go
I will
5
have to.
minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll wrap it within
Then
5.
Evelyn may be able to stay on, but I'm
I think we can wrap it in 5. We'll go through super quickly. Cool. So outside that, the 31st on received a bunch of review request emails for the products that were ordered. And this was my biggest question, honestly. I went and looked at your Instagram page, and your Instagram content is great. So that's the first part of this. But the second part is I noticed that on Instagram, you started promoting the Black Friday sale on November 8th, but Kayla didn't receive like a single campaign throughout Black Friday. And this, I think, is like the biggest opportunity. So like we've talked about like potential like segmentation opportunities like up until now, but I think like this is the clearest example of like making sure, and like for any brands watching this, just like making sure that your segments are dialed in to like not alienate anyone from
Wait,
offers
Kayla,
that,
sorry, are you saying I'm so sorry to interrupt you, Elliot.
yeah.
Did you say you didn't get any Black Friday messaging?
Nope.
Will you share your email and what was the purchase date?
October
Purchase
the 9th.
date.
Okay.
You
We
can,
usually exclude, especially during sales and launches, anyone who's purchased in the last 30 days. We have a pretty volatile customer base, so a lot of the time people will be digging for those discounts. So, we slim down on our customer service, like the traffic that kind of goes to the customer service in that way, because we'll get a lot of people who may have ordered, call it, October 4th, and the sale goes November 5th, and they're wanting the discount. So we filter those out. However, that should not account for you being filtered out of everything else. I am in our systems right now. If you're to send the email that was attached to that, we can figure out exactly what was going on.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
here,
even
I'll
over
send it in the
BFCM,
chat.
I understand the rationale there. I think, and like this is from like
That
a
after 2 weeks has changed, and we filtered it back to 2 weeks. So the exclusions were kind of changed as the sale progressed. We had the sale going
okay,
from I think the 5th to the 4th of December. So the
okay,
segmentation varied throughout the sale.
got it. From like the customer
However, I definitely
perspective,
do want to be sure that we get Kayla's.
yeah. From the customer perspective, like I would just say like after seeing the quality, like my personal view would be like if there's a sale, I would just look to like is there like the potential to buy this as like a holiday gift for someone else potentially. But I do understand
Yeah,
from your
that was a
perspective,
bit
you
of a
see the
miss. I was gonna say that was a bit of a miss for me because I do have my sister like has a young baby, so like with the quality, my instant was like, oh my God, she would love this for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And I was waiting for like that like Black Friday holiday sale email to come through, and I never saw it, and then it slipped my mind, to be honest. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, very much so. Definitely some segmentation things you could update there for, especially for
Yeah.
like gifting time period.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
definitely need to
definitely.
look into what happened there. Yeah.
yeah.
It
Do
also
you
looks
need
like
to go
were
ahead?
you happening to review a lot of these emails in the first and like last week? Because we're seeing a lot of engagement with some of these past emails on your email, Kayla, but it looks like they were all open within like the last 2 weeks. That's probably something we can sidebar about, but we can definitely check in on why this
I
would have been segmented this way.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you exactly when I opened things, to be
No
honest.
worries.
To remember that.
Okay, cool. So basically, just to wrap up, we have our prescription from Dispatch that we always share with every brand that is kind enough to come on LTV Lab. And basically, first off, just start with what we loved. So the product, like, cannot speak highly of it enough. Like, I want nothing more for your brand to just scale to the moon because I love meeting brands who care about their product and care about their customers. And there's just no doubt in our mind that you guys do. We talked about the unboxing experience and like the education that was inside the packaging, like unboxing. You guys have crushed it. And like from a customer retention perspective, you have the best emails in the world. The product isn't there, the experience isn't there. Doesn't matter that much in terms of retention. So like you guys have nailed the product piece. Now, what can be done after someone is loving the product to potentially improve LTV? So I'll let you speak to this, Kayla, if you could zoom through it pretty quick, and then I'll just touch on the others.
Yeah, just in general, relevant content related to the purchase. So just understanding where that person is in on their life cycle. I think we touched this throughout as well. Also, like more cross-selling. I didn't feel like there was as much cross-selling and like what I received to like get me to a different purchase. And then like gifting angling, I think also would be work really well. That's kind of like where I am in my journey. And you did mention that like anecdotally there is a good portion of people who are gifting. So adding some of those other angles in as well, um, yeah, would have been really great. Oh, and then also
Hmm.
some more like use case content. So seeing how it would fit in my everyday life. I really love that like Halloween email where you could like see it in like a real setting. So like adding more of that as well into your flows and like everyday campaigns.
Yeah. See, that's so
We have some
interesting
around like
because the
grocery
Halloween
stores
text did
and
not perform. It's so interesting to hear things like that because we'll see that some people love them for engagement and then we'll see revenue and we're like, no one
Yeah,
liked this for some reason. That's interesting. I think too, there's always, the factoring in like what is the objective of this email. So like things
Sure.
like that is like, is the objective of this email for people to kind of see like what Kayla, what you were thinking, like, okay, yeah, this is how I could use my Tush Baby tonight, or is it, oh, this is what's going to make me buy today, for example. And like kind
yeah.
of learning which
yeah, and I
which
definitely
ones of those should
don't.
go when.
And yeah, and it's definitely not necessarily, oh, this is going to make me buy right away, but like over time and like through flows, like seeing how it would, because like
Hmm.
that's not something that comes to my mind of like, oh, you can wear this on Halloween because your kid's going
Yeah,
to get tired and want to be carried. Uh, my 4-year-old would, would love that. And even like showcasing like the lift off more. Um, my daughter's very tiny, so like she would still fit in the lift off. But I didn't get messaging around that. So I actually didn't know that product even existed or was like in my range of my child until I was kind of like re-looking at this for this like particular exercise. So just making sure that like the messaging and finding ways in a scalable way to make sure the messaging is
Hmm.
relevant and going through that life stages.
definitely.
Yeah, and just to build on what Kayla talked about in terms of like that content, like around Halloween, there are like two types of email marketing strategies, and I would say like the average brand like puts email marketing into like a bucket or a silo where they're like, this is what Instagram is for, or this is what organic content's for, this is what paid ads are for, and like then this is what email is for. And in reality, like I think what Dispatch, like humbly I can say, is one of the best in the world at is taking like engaging content that's been built for other platforms that is like native to social or blog content, let's say, and packaging it into a really engaging email with product tie-ins and CTAs to go shop. So like I went to look at your like Instagram, like I said, and the content that you have there is so great and like almost couldn't be different than like the content of the emails that were received. And basically like what that boils down to is like the strategy that I would say Tushbaby is following like more closely is what I just call like merchandising in the inbox, where like everything for the most part is about product. And like everything is about like here's a product and here's like a CTA to go shop with like a few ecom pictures. And the best results that we've seen of any of our clients are like when we build a more like content forward strategy that involves selling. So it's not like a one or the other. And when you talk about like that Halloween email,
Yeah.
it like I would want to break it down to see like why it didn't convert potentially. But yeah, a combination of those strategies is typically where we see like the biggest incremental difference. Cool. I'm gonna zoom through this 2 seconds. Basically, the last thing here is like more effective promotion of offers. So like a better SMS incentive to get us to sign up. And especially like before BFCM, like I don't know about you guys, but like it was the most competitive BFCM we've seen in a long time. Clients still crushed it, but like in my personal inbox, I had easily 200 emails come in. So like getting someone into the SMS program ahead of time would have been great. Just the referral incentive, like being more clear and a little more present with like that branded email that we talked about. Improvement of like the technical setup to just avoid customers receiving emails that are meant for prospects. And maybe like once you dig in, you'll see that it isn't really an issue. But also just like ensuring proper segmentation, customers are receiving highly valuable emails throughout the sale, not just final hours. And like looking at BFCM, definitely this is probably like the biggest takeaway. Um, More effective and intentional cross-selling of accessories after purchase of a carrier. So like I bought a carrier and like I should know at this point like why I need every single accessory in order to make my life as easy as possible. And I think it just like we've
Yeah.
talked about it, like focus and really like selling on why you need each of those accessories. Showcasing like real parent testimonials on how to like have those accessories make the carrier more functional, like errands, travel, like long outings, presenting bundle savings potentially, or just like complete your carrier system. So like as soon as you know that like someone now has the carrier, like if it does require incentive, but it's going to get you like the full system, let's say, that would have been great to see. And then just like a more concerted focus, like throughout campaigns and flow emails, like about the just like brand USPs. So these things like may have been sprinkled in at certain places, but even just like wide range of styles and colors, like didn't really see outside of like one or two emails. And basically like ultimately these different USPs can be like the one thing that drives someone to want to place an order. And we just want to make sure like we're not just mentioning them once and then kind of like moving on. Um, and that's like pretty much it from our prescription.
Awesome. I love it. I think all of that makes sense.
Thank you guys so much, seriously, for coming on the podcast. Really appreciate the time. Really hope that this was as helpful as could be. And I think you guys are crushing it. And I want to see nothing more than the brand continue to scale.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. This was so great. It was really helpful and really insightful. I really appreciate you guys taking the time. And thank you so much for having us on as well.
Yeah, our pleasure. Okay. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in to this episode of LTV Lab, and we'll see you in the next one.